Marrakech is where Morocco forgot to install the quiet, modernize the chaos, or make anything predictable. And that's exactly what makes it intoxicating. While the rest of North Africa built the beach resorts and the sanitized tourist zones, Marrakech kept the snake charmers in the main square, the labyrinthine souks where getting lost is the point, and the medieval palaces where the tilework rivals any museum. We're talking about the city where the el-fna square transforms from the orange juice stands by day to the storytellers and the acrobats by night, where the riads hide the rooftop gardens behind the unmarked doors, and where the call to prayer echoes 5 times daily from the 800-year-old minaret. What this isn't the Morocco of the coastal resorts or the French colonial boulevards. This is the Morocco where the donkey carts navigate the medieval alleys, where the souks sell everything from the saffron to the leather slippers, and where the palaces still showcase the Moorish artistry. So prepare for the sensory overload. el-fna is the main square where the snake charmers, the storytellers, and the nightly transformation create the greatest show in Morocco. The square sits at the heart of the Medina, serving as the social and commercial center since the 11th century. The daytime brings the orange juice vendors, the henna artists, and the monkey handlers creating the constant activity. The sunset transformation turns the square into the outdoor theater with the food stalls, the musicians, the acrobats, and the storytellers performing in the Berber and the Arabic. The UNESCO declared it the masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity protecting the traditions. The surrounding cafes offer the rooftop terraces for the square viewing. The snake charmers with the cobras create the controversial attraction. The chaos is overwhelming with the sensory assault from the sounds, the smells, and the constant solicitation. Visit year-round, with the evenings offering the full spectacle and the cooler temperatures from October to April providing the comfort. Have you watched the sunset transformation of the main square where the snake charmers and the storytellers create the nightly spectacle? Medina of Marrakech is the UNESCO site where the labyrinthine souks, the medieval architecture, and the getting lost create the authentic Old City experience. The Medina, the old walled city, dates from the 11th century and remains one of the largest car-free urban areas in the world. The souks are organized by the trade with the separate areas for the leather, the metalwork, the spices, the carpets, and the textiles. The alleyways form the maze designed to confuse the invaders, now confusing the tourists. The riads, the traditional houses with the interior courtyards, hide behind the plain exterior walls. The tanneries still use the traditional methods with the stone vessels and the natural dyes creating the pungent smell. The haggling is expected in the shops with the initial prices often triple the final cost. The Medina walls stretch 19 kilometers with the multiple gates providing the access. Visit year-round with the mornings offering the quieter exploration before the afternoon heat and the crowds. Have you navigated the labyrinthine souks where the medieval trades continue, and getting lost is the inevitable experience? Bahia Palace is the 19th century palace where the zeligi tilework, the painted ceilings, and the courtyard gardens create the Moroccan architectural masterpiece. The palace was built in the late 1800s for the Si Musa, the Grand Vizier, and his son with the name meaning brilliance or beautiful. The 160 rooms feature the intricate zeligi tilework, the carved cedar ceilings, and the stained glass windows showcasing the Moroccan craftsmanship. The courtyards have the orange trees, the fountains, and the geometric gardens following the Islamic garden principles. The harem quarters show where the concubines lived in the separate apartments. The rooms lack the furniture as the original contents were looted after the owner's death. The palace represents the Moroccan Andalusian architecture style. As the restoration work continues, maintaining the historic features. Visit year-round with the mornings offering the fewer crowds and the better light for the tilework photography. Have you explored the 160-room palace where the zeligi tilework and the painted ceilings showcase the 19th century Moroccan artistry? Koutoubia Mosque is the 12th century landmark where the 77-meter minaret, the 5 times daily call to prayer, and the Almohad architecture create the Marrakech symbol. The mosque, completed in 1158, is the largest in Marrakech with the capacity for 25,000 worshippers. The minaret stands 77 meters tall, serving as the city's most recognizable landmark and the model for the Giralda in Seville and the Hassan Tower in Rabat. The name derives from the Arabic word for bookseller, as the area once hosted the manuscript market. The mosque is closed to non-Muslims following the Islamic tradition. The exterior features the Almohad architecture, with the decorative arches and the proportioned design. The gardens surrounding the mosque offer the viewing areas. The call to prayer from the minaret echoes across the city 5 times daily. The evening illumination highlights the architectural details. Visit year-round for the exterior viewing with the sunset providing the dramatic lighting against the Atlas Mountains backdrop. Have you heard the call to prayer from the 77-meter minaret that's dominated the Marrakech skyline since 1158? Majorelle Garden is the botanical sanctuary where the electric blue buildings, the exotic plants, and the Yves Saint Laurent connection create the tranquil escape. The garden was created by the French painter Jacques Majorelle in the 1920s to 1930s, who developed the distinctive Majorelle blue color used throughout. The botanical collection includes the cacti, the bamboo groves, the palm trees, and the over 300 plant species from the 5 continents. The Yves Saint Laurent and Pierre Berger purchased and restored the garden in 1980, saving it from destruction. The Berber Museum in the garden showcases the North African indigenous culture. The memorial to Yves Saint Laurent sits in the garden where his ashes were scattered. The villa houses the Islamic Art Museum with the collection of North African artifacts. The crowds can be overwhelming, requiring the early morning or the late afternoon visit. Visit year-round with the spring offering the full bloom and the early mornings providing the quieter experience. Have you escaped the Medina chaos in the botanical garden, where the Majorelle blue and the exotic plants create the tranquil oasis? If you're captivated by Marrakech's chaotic beauty from the medieval Medina to the palace tilework, smash that subscribe button because we're halfway through and the hidden gardens are still coming. Like, comment, and share if Morocco's most vibrant city is calling you. Asterisk. Sadian Tombs is the 16th century mausoleum where the Sultan burials, the intricate stucco work, and the sealed history create the rediscovered treasure. The tombs were built during the Sadian dynasty rule in the 1500s to house the Sultan Ahmad al-Mansur and his family. The tombs were sealed by the Alawite Sultan Moulay Ismail in the early 1700s, hiding them from view for over 200 years. The French administration rediscovered them in 1917 during the aerial survey. The main mausoleum has the ornate decoration with the carved cedar, the colorful tiles, and the gold leaf stucco. The Hall of 12 Columns houses the most elaborate tombs with the intricate honeycomb ceiling. The garden contains the over 100 additional graves of the servants and the soldiers. The small entrance through the narrow passage limits the visitor flow. Visit year-round, with the mornings offering the fewer crowds in the small chambers. Have you visited the Sultan tombs that were sealed and forgotten for over 200 years until the 1917 rediscovery? El-Bahia Palace is the ruined palace where the massive courtyard, the stork nests, and the former glory create the atmospheric ruins. The palace was built by the Sultan Ahmad al-Mansur in the late 1500s, celebrating the victory over the Portuguese, and was considered one of the world's most beautiful palaces. The Sultan Moulay Ismail stripped the palace of its decorations in the early 1700s to decorate his palace in Meknes, destroying its grandeur. The ruins show the massive courtyard measuring 135 by 110 meters, with the sunken orange groves and the reflecting pools. The storks nest on the remaining walls, creating the wildlife presence. The underground passages and the prison cells are accessible. The museum exhibits show the palace's original splendor through the historical displays. The rooftop views encompass the Medina and the Atlas Mountains. The July Folklore Festival uses the palace as the atmospheric venue. Visit year-round with the spring offering the orange blossom scent and the rooftop views being spectacular at sunset. Have you explored the stripped palace ruins where the storks nest on the walls and the sunken gardens hint at the former splendor? Menara Gardens is the 12th century olive grove where the reflecting pool, the Atlas Mountains backdrop, and the pavilion create the postcard scene. The gardens were established by the Almohad dynasty in the 11th century as the orchard and the agricultural testing ground. The central basin measures 195 by 160 meters, serving as the irrigation reservoir for the surrounding olive groves. The pavilion dating from the 1800s sits beside the pool reflecting in the water, with the snow-capped Atlas Mountains behind. The olive groves covering the 100 hectares still produce the olives. The gardens are popular with the locals for the picnics and the weekend escapes. The sunset views with the pavilion and the mountains create the photography opportunity. The gardens represent the traditional Moroccan garden design focused on the water conservation and the agriculture. The relative distance from the Medina means fewer tourists. Visit year-round, with the spring offering the green landscapes and the winter providing the snow-capped mountain backdrop. Have you photographed the pavilion, reflecting in the pool with the snow-capped Atlas Mountains creating the classic Marrakech scene? Le Jardin Secret is the restored Riyadh complex where the Islamic garden, the exotic garden, and the tower views create the hidden Medina oasis. The complex dates from the Saadian dynasty in the 16th century and was restored and opened to the public in 2016. The two gardens follow the different design principles: the Islamic garden with the geometric layouts and the traditional plants, and the exotic garden with the species from around the world. The traditional irrigation system using the Qattara, the underground channels, still functions distributing the water. The tower offers the 360-degree views over the Medina rooftops to the Atlas Mountains. The exhibitions explain the Islamic garden design principles and the water management systems. The cafe serves the refreshments in the garden setting. The location deep in the Medina near the Ali Ben Youssef Mosque makes it the genuine discovery. Visit year-round with the spring and the fall offering the comfortable temperatures and the tower providing the sunset views. Have you discovered the restored garden hiding in the Medina where the Islamic and exotic gardens create the rooftop oasis? Mela is the former Jewish quarter, where the narrow streets, the synagogue, and the spice market create the distinct neighborhood history. The Mela was established in the 1500s, becoming one of the first designated Jewish quarters in Morocco. The narrow streets and the balconied houses differ from the rest of the Medina, reflecting the Jewish architectural influence. The Lazama synagogue remains active, serving the small remaining Jewish community that once numbered in the thousands. The Jewish cemetery with the white tombs contrasts with the Muslim cemeteries. The spice market in the Mela is less touristy than the main souks offering the authentic shopping. The Mela adjoins the royal palace walls, with the proximity providing the historic protection for the Jewish community. The population is now predominantly Muslim, as most Jews emigrated to Israel in the 1950s to 1960s. The Bahia Palace was built by the Jewish counselor to the Sultan. Visit year-round with the synagogue, requiring the respectful dress, and the spice market offering the quieter shopping alternative. Have you explored the former Jewish quarter, where the synagogue and the distinct architecture tell the Moroccan Jewish history? So there you have it, 10 destinations in Marrakech that prove Morocco's imperial city never lost the chaos, never sanitized the medieval Medina, and never pretended the Arabian Nights aesthetic didn't matter. From the el-fna square, where the snake charmers and the storytellers perform the nightly spectacle, to the labyrinthine souks where getting lost is the inevitable experience, from the palace tile work that showcases the Moorish artistry to the gardens hiding the tranquil courtyards behind the unmarked doors, Marrakech is the city that stayed authentic. The call to prayer still echoes from the 12th century minaret. The riads still hide the rooftop gardens, and the donkey carts still navigate the medieval alleys unchanged for centuries. The sensory overload will overwhelm you. The haggling will exhaust you. And the beauty will justify every chaotic moment. If Marrakech's intoxicating energy called to you, smash that subscribe button for more destinations that refuse to be sanitized. Drop a comment telling me which Marrakech experience you're attempting. Are you Team Main Square Chaos with el-fna and the Medina souks? Team Palace Architecture with Bahia Palace and the Saadian tombs? Or Team Garden Escapes in Major El Garden and Le Jardin Secret?